Hey crypto jerks, checking in on the sector. We have a lack of clarity in the short term, which usually means there's megaphone patterns around for me personally. And that's the case. There's two of them. We'll point them out on Bitcoin and talk about this pattern. And we keep getting very close to the bears taking over, leading to weekly consolidation. But just when we seem to be on the verge of that happening, the bulls continue to step in. It's a very frustrating environment for the bears. Let's look at these megaphones. So the life of a trader is constantly learning new things, making new observations, and ditching the things that don't work and making space for new things that do work. And for me personally, it has been wedges, falling wedges and rising wedges over the past couple of years. I've gotten really good and comfortable with those, and now it's megaphones. And right now, if I'm looking at a short-term chart and I say this doesn't look clear to me, I instantly start looking for megaphones because I know that the most unclear pattern for me is a megaphone. And right now, Bitcoin has multiple megaphones on multiple time frames to be watching. The first one is on the hourly from the action over the last 2 days. And the megaphone and why it's so confusing, at least for me personally, is because it is defined by a resistance break straight into a support break, straight into a resistance break. For me, that's just very choppy back and forth action. But once you recognize the megaphone, it becomes a lot more clear. So we're currently testing that hourly uptrending megaphone resistance. And as soon as this pattern breaks, even if it breaks bull, I'm then going to be zooming out to the 4-hour time frame because the 4-hour has a megaphone. And again, this is the one from the last video that we highlighted, thanks to member Jim G pointing it out. A 4-hour, again, bunch of resistance tests, bunch of support tests. 4-hour bear flag confirmed with the lack of follow through. There was some news that came out that helped the bulls a little bit. Honestly, I don't even know what the news was. Some bank is going to be potentially looking into futures trading, blah, blah, blah. The news wasn't that big of an impact in my opinion. It's the megaphone. So we're bouncing off this downtrending support line. And if the uptrending resistance line that we just looked at on the hourly breaks bullish, we're then going to be looking at this uptrending resistance line. Aside from price levels, we still have price level resistances. 49.9 thousand is one, 50.5 is the other. But if these bulls regain their full control, we will need a 4-hour trend change back to the bulls eventually, because this move is coming right off the low. But my target will be this uptrending resistance line if we head back to the recent high. So again, it's a frustrating pattern with breaks lacking follow through, but if you have it drawn up, you can act on it. And it's just, personally, for me, I'm on observation mode. It's going to take me a lot longer until I'm comfortable putting any real money on the line trading those patterns. So this is Bitcoin holding daily EMA 12. And there was the battle down there at that level. It was a bounce off of it initially. We set the 4-hour bear flag. We confirmed the 4-hour bear flag straight into a sizable bounce. So that is bulls defending daily EMA 12. And we know that if daily EMA 12 is holding, the bulls have complete control on the daily. It's not possible for us to see weekly consolidation if daily EMA 12 is support. So at this point in time, again, bears are frustrated because bears just started to take over where we saw hourly oversold conditions into a weak bounce, into a bear flag, lack of follow through on the bear flag. And again, it's essentially an hourly bear flag lacking follow through into a 4-hour bear flag lacking follow through, making up the megaphone. But it was the bounce not getting enough follow through on the hourly for us to say, yep, bulls are in complete control and aggressively buying the dip as it has been in the recent past. But daily EMA 12 is holding. I was keeping an eye out for 4-hour oversold conditions. That RSI got just into the upper 30s, didn't get oversold. And here we are with bulls recovering. What is the most important pattern for me, aside from observing those megaphones, the dominance chart. This dominance chart, and again, I've said it, I'm going to say it again. This pattern breaking is going to tell me that there is notable volatility coming in the crypto space. And we are just coming up to resistance, and we rejected. And these resistance rejections the last 2 days are crypto. It's the crypto sector bouncing, and the altcoins bouncing more significantly, which is keeping us pulling back. Again, the only way I see this chart breaking in the short term, and again, this is the second tightest sideways range that we've been within for a long time. I'm looking back 5 months, and there was one period where we traded similarly. So we're extremely tight. And the only way that this breaks bull and the crypto space stays strong and does not see weekly consolidation is Bitcoin related news, in my opinion. because Bitcoin would just have to all of a sudden become much more favorable than all these altcoins. And we have altcoins coming in and out of blue sky breakout. So to just see a shift where Bitcoin is now stronger than the blue sky altcoin bulls, for me, I think that there has to be a catalyst for that kind of notable shift to take place. And otherwise, if this pattern breaks bull, I believe it will be weekly consolidation taking place and altcoins dropping faster. We're rejecting from daily EMA 12. The burden of proof is on the bulls in this chart, just like the burden of proof is on the bears in the cryptocurrency space. If this chart breaks bearish, then we'll be looking at the cryptocurrency space to stay strong. Because again, an unlikely scenario, if this breaks bearish and the cryptocurrency space is dropping, that means Bitcoin is dropping faster than all individual altcoins put together. You know, the makeup of the altcoins. And again, hard to imagine a scenario where Bitcoin's going to be dropping faster than these altcoins, because it's just not the relationship that we've been seeing over the last 12 plus months. That relationship will likely eventually change, but in my opinion, there has to be a news catalyst behind it. And people keep talking about the rumors about ETFs, maybe by the end of this year, maybe in October, and that would be a catalyst. You know, if we get ETF approval in Bitcoin, I would look for this dominance chart to break bull, and I would look for the cryptocurrency space to break bull. But in the absence of news, I'm expecting these relationships to stay the same in the short term. And we can stay within this tightening range on the dominance chart for another week plus. So just keep an eye on it, and it can add confidence to your trades. You know, if I'm looking for a Bitcoin bounce and I see the dominance chart rejecting from resistance, that gives me a little bit more confidence, saying, okay, well, the altcoins are bouncing more significantly, and we don't have a whole lot of fear in the sector. ETH/USD on the 4-hour, we've got an uptrending resistance line to be watching. So here is resistance, very slight uptrend to it. And again, it's got this megaphone pattern where we can draw a downtrending support line that we're watching here. But the support matters less to me than the resistance does. The resistance is a lot more clear. And we're looking up at those price levels. And again, we need a 4-hour trend change back to the bulls. If we're going to be real confident, because aggressive bulls at this point are going to be watching this and saying, well, shoot, I was anticipating, this is a southern trader. Well, shoot, I was anticipating weekly consolidation about to happen. And we got the daily EMA 12 holding on Bitcoin. So that aggressive trader is going to be looking to buy 4-hour high or low. And they'll say to themselves, well, if 47,000 holds, then that's a daily bull flag keeping these bulls in complete control. And if that level is lost, we're going to see weekly consolidation begin. So their trade game plan is going to be looking for a 4-hour high or low, using 47 as a stop. And if we confirm the trend change, we're going to be looking right back up at that high. So from here into tomorrow, that's the next thing the bulls are looking for to have full confidence that they've regained short-term control. A 4-hour trend change back in their favor. Keeping in mind, we'll just be watching our uptrending resistance lines on these 4-hour megaphones. So ETH/USD, clear resistance, but bulls holding on and fending off weekly consolidation. And I'm keeping an eye out for ETH/BTC to try and set a weekly high or low. Unable to do so at this point. We bounced, we set a daily lower high. Clear daily lower highs at this point. If these bulls hold 6488 and break 6711, that's a notable shift for me. That's a confirmed daily trend change, setting a weekly high or low. And if that were to take place, that likely means the dominance chart is down testing its lows. And that would mean, when's the last time we've seen ETH take the lead as far as being one of the strongest alts? It's been a long time. And we had the run-up with the London hard fork that was a catalyst for ETH to be one of the stronger altcoins. And now we're seeing ADA, and now most recently Binance and all these other names getting the attention. And the question is, does that attention cycle on back to ETH as these profits keep rotating around? ADA, congrats to the bottom, the back burner bulls. First hourly oversold conditions coming off the all-time high into a 10% bounce. Definitely got extended on the shorter term time frames. And the 5-minute RSI down at that low was real crushed. So you don't want to be scaling in too quickly, because that 5-minute RSI got down almost single digits there. And again, if you are scaling in and a little bit too heavy, you want to use the shorter term bounces to lighten up a little bit. You know, if I'm scaling in way up here and I'm in at 74 and 72 and 68 and I'm out of bullets now, I'm definitely selling a good chunk at break even to just free up that capital in case we see another leg down. I'm still in control of the trade as opposed to being all in my trade and no ability to maneuver around. So a nice 10% bounce from hourly oversold conditions. And then we had a nice bottom fishing play where bulls could bottom fish 258. And now we have a 4-hour tightening range. So viewing this as a low, high, higher low, double bottom, and anything under 285 is just a lower high. And if we set that lower high, we're going to have a really nice 4-hour equilibrium and tightening range to be watching on ADA in the short term. So the first thing I want to do here now is look at the BTC pairing and say, okay, am I getting any clues? How does it shape up? Well, it looks a little bit weaker. So here's the US dollar pairing testing the recent high of 2797, and the BTC pairing is not testing the recent high. This is a very minor difference right now. It's not enough. It's just enough for me to say, okay, pay attention. Because if I'm an ADA bull, I know that the BTC pairing showing relative weakness compared to the US dollar pairing is a first signal for the potential of the spotlight being lost and for bigger picture consolidation to take place. And again, Sol did that a day or two in advance, right before the US dollar pairing top was set, and then we consolidated for days. So just keep an eye out. If the BTC pairing on any alt that you're watching, if there is a spotlight correlation where the BTC pairing is doing exactly what the US dollar pairing is and it's remaining strong, you can often get some initial first clues by the BTC pairing showing weakness first before the US dollar pairing does. And that can at least get you thinking about the other direction, perhaps taking a little bit of profit, maybe even flipping short. But I would need to see, if ADA confirms this hourly bull flag, fails 285 and sets a 4-hour lower high, and ADA BTC never breaks this resistance and then just starts that 4-hour consolidation, that would be shaping up to potentially be losing the spotlight. And again, if you're an ADA bull that's planning on sitting through daily consolidation, that doesn't matter to you in the slightest. You know that you might have to sit through a 20% pullback to find a daily high or low. This is only for people that are trying to lock in these gains and not sit through bigger picture consolidation. Binance has been standing out the last couple of days. The biggest factor in Binance and what had individual alts standing out stronger was we had a low, hourly lower or 4-hour lower high, and then we held support because Bitcoin did not hold support there. So any altcoin that's holding that 4-hour higher low versus the lower low clearly is standing out stronger than Bitcoin. And there were a handful of alts that did that, and ADA was another one. We got that double bottom. And Binance, from that higher low, is now right back up testing the high of 510 and keeping this daily breakout going. A lot of solid volume and just an extremely strong move still intact. 510, next resistance after that, 516.50, 534. So the 4-hour uptrend is remaining our guide, and that has not been lost since our most recent leg up. Higher low, lower high, higher low, bull break, testing that high right now. And the BTC pairing didn't even start 4-hour consolidation. So we had the low at 12 on August 24th. USDT pairing had that same low. And the USD pairing, this showed us the Binance BTC pairing stayed stronger. Right here is where Bitcoin confirmed the 4-hour bear flag and where the US dollar pairing set a higher low. The BTC pairing didn't even consolidate, just went straight to the higher high. So here's an instance where the BTC pairing is not only correlating in the spotlight, but it's even stronger than the US dollar pairing, which again is best case scenario and staying very strong. Monthly higher low set. And now we're looking back up towards the all-time high of 12,352. And it's just a question of, are we going to set a lower high compared to the all-time high and tighten up on the monthly time frame? Or are the Binance bulls about to party with a monthly bull flag? It's a possible monthly bull flag. AXS, USDT, keeping an eye out bearish here just because this clear channel broke bear. And look at all these rejections on these back tests. So if I'm looking at a name to look short-term bearish on, I've got a clear resistance level, an uptrending resistance line, and also look at the BTC pairing. So this is an example where if I were looking to short AXS USDT, just looking for 4-hour consolidation, I could make an entry, and then I could say to myself, if this BTC pairing breaks these resistances bullish, I know to bail on that trade because we then start seeing a good bit of relative strength comparative to Bitcoin. But if we reject from this resistance and pull back on the BTC pairing, then that is a potential viable short trade. So previous support being tested as resistance, 12-hour time frame. Are we looking for a lower high to be set? It would be a fairly weak bounce if that is our 12-hour lower high, but a very clear resistance line to be watching. Theta BTC was watching this pattern last video. Just want to check up on it because it's a really nice equilibrium. It's on the verge of breaking bear. So the video was done when we were right here. We saw a bull move, just a lower high, and now we're battling to try and hold this support zone. So not giving up on it yet, still keeping an eye on it, but we know it's the bulls that have the proving to do, and they need to get over 16,589 from here, holding that base of support and break the lower high pattern if Theta USDT is going to start standing out as one of the lead alt bulls for a period of time. And you can see the daily chart on the US dollar pairing is tightening up a bit, but I really care about the BTC pairing more than I do the USDT pairing. One more thing about Bitcoin I forgot to point out, along with lining up with the daily EMA 12 support is a 12-hour uptrend line. And this is one to be watching as well. And again, the more signals you have lining up with each other, the more conviction we have in a trade, which is why I love, whether it's stocks or crypto, hourly back burner lining up with daily EMA 12. And in this instance, it was Bitcoin 4-hour downtrending megaphone support. That's the least valid pattern for me. 12-hour uptrending support. Okay, that's a clear level that's been holding since 29,000. Daily EMA 12. That's my favorite. So uptrend line aligning with daily EMA 12 and bulls holding. But admittedly, again, I would not be looking bullish. You know, just this morning when I was up checking things out and checking in on the sector, I would not have been looking bullish. So there are periods where we have uncertainty, and that is A-okay. When they have periods of high conviction, you know, Bitcoin, long drawn-out equilibrium when we were trading in the teens, in the thousands, what was it, 13,000, 14,000? It broke bull, high conviction. New all-time high over 20,000, high conviction. Back burner trades coming off of all-time highs, high conviction. Megaphones, when weekly consolidation is due but just not happening. Resistance breaks with no follow-through, support breaks with no follow-through, low conviction. So that means either trading less or trading with small position sizes, but identify what your edges are as a trader. I know megaphones are not my edge, so those are low conviction for me. And here we are rejecting from hourly resistance. And we'll see if we're going to remain in this megaphone. Keep an eye on the hourly megaphone, and then if it breaks bull, we zoom out and keep an eye on the 4-hour megaphone, keeping in mind that if bulls are going to regain full short-term control, they will need to confirm a 4-hour trend change into tomorrow. And again, I don't short the cryptocurrency space, but I'm putting myself in a bearish mindset and imagining if I was bearish and, you know, trying to get a position for weekly consolidation, it is extremely frustrating. And just a lot of, I'd be getting chopped up. I would have stopped out probably maybe 2 or 3 times at this point, and I would just be giving up. If we set another weekly high or low this week, the simplest way will be just acting on the pattern of a higher low every week breaking to show us the clear momentum shift into weekly consolidation. Do good things. I hope you're well, and we will check back in soon. We got a beetle party on these milkweed seeds.
Sunflower eater. So this is the volunteer squash on the compost pile, and I've started to take their fruit, which are a cross of, it looks like delicata and something else, and I'm just smashing them open and giving them to the squirrels. Looks like we got some fungi explosion going on. Just watched Fantastic Fungi for the 12th time last night. Still got pollinators going. The mulch helps with the erosion, but you can see a little river found its way underneath the mulch. But overall, just driveway damage. Could have been a lot worse. Big old praying mantis.